Each season, Guys Telling Stories seeks out fascinating people with a good story to tell. I'm Rich Douglas, and this man beside me is my co-host, Bill Easton. We're a couple of guys who love a good story. And our quest today takes us back to our hometown, Buffalo, New York, to hopefully break a world record. This is Guys Telling Stories.
Hello there, Rich. How we doing?
Bill, we're doing okay.
Good.
Doing all right. I'm excited. Our season's coming to an end.
It is. This is the last one.
This is the last one. We've got next week. We'll do our season 3 finale. But our guests today, Mike and Amy Lesakowski, you have one heck of a story to share.
I've known them well now. I know them well.
Yeah, you're a part of the 11-day power play. You are on the team.
I'm on the team.
Yeah, I got some questions for you.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Okay, you're looking to break the world record for the world's longest hockey game.
Correct.
And raise $1 million for cancer research.
That's exactly right, and that is the main focus of this event. And the intro is a little tease, like break a world record, which is great because that's obviously one of the goals of this event. But the important part is to raise awareness and raise money for cancer research. And Roswell Park, right here locally, will be the beneficiary of all the money that we raise.
Okay, so Mike and Amy are going to tell us their story, but let me ask you, as a player who's on the team, how long do you play each day? Like, what's a shift?
A shift is about 4.5 hours. There are some 10-minute breaks for ice, but it's only 10 minutes.
And how many shifts in a day?
2.
Okay, so you're playing hockey for close to 8 to 9 hours a day. Where do you sleep?
In the locker rooms.
So this is going to be in downtown Buffalo at the
Yes.
Harbor Center. You're sleeping in the locker rooms. You have a nice bed.
They're building us. Some are bunk beds. Some are just regular flat, small little space. Where you can have a little mattress and almost like camp.
What do you guys do for food?
There's a few restaurants that have stepped up to provide us with some of the meals, and we're responsible for anything that we need personally for our own bodies. Our protein bars, our anything that we bring that is a normal part of our diet that isn't a regular meal. But they're providing the 11-day power play is providing us with fruit and chocolate milk and any of that other stuff that we need to keep our energy up and moving.
Okay, so what happens? You're on the ice and you have to go to the bathroom, or somebody gets...
Don't go to the bathroom.
Okay, so somebody gets injured. What happens?
Okay, well, if you're injured, there's six skaters and a goalie. So there's always one person on the bench to replace you if you're tired or if something happens. But you have to keep 5 guys on the ice, and even if someone's in the penalty box, that counts. So if somebody really goes down and has to leave the event, they're out. The team plays a man short for the duration of the event, and we all have to, basically pick up the slack for the guy that's out. Hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody.
Well, 11 days of hockey and over $1 million raised for cancer research. This is exciting. We are in downtown Buffalo here at Harbor Center waiting for Mike and Amy to get out of a meeting. So in the meantime, let's get to try it home. All right, our Guys Telling Stories Season 3 T-Shirt Design Challenge is coming to a close next week. And we still need your help deciding a winner.
That means I'm winning.
I'm not going to say the results just yet, but I'll recap of the challenge. Bill and I each designed our own custom T-shirt, and it's up to you, the listeners, to help us decide whose T-shirt is best. Bill, quick recap. What does your T-shirt look like?
Mine is a West Virginia University-inspired Country Roads Mountain Mama T-shirt.
Awesome. Yeah, it's in the blue or gold of your very own West Virginia Mountaineers state. And gotta say, folks, it's pretty popular, which means friends and family. This is Rich here talking. There's 1 week left. I know a lot of you said you loved my shirt. They said, great design. Well, sure could use a few people, hint, 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 in my corner buying those shirts. So 1 week left. Here's the deal. These are custom designed T-shirts, and you can get yours and help us decide the winner to the contest simply by going to GuysTellingStories.com and clicking on the merch tab. There you can check out the shirts and buy the one you think is best. That's GuysTellingStories.com and click on the merch tab to check out the shirt and buy the one you think is best.
Well, you're also, we may as well do all this at once because you're already shopping. You're already buying Rich's or my T-shirt, and you're on our website. So while you're there, click on Amazon. Get the rest of your online shopping done, whether you have Prime or not. It's free for you. It doesn't cost you anything to go to guystellingstories.com, click on the Amazon link, and then do your shopping because we get a cut of everything that you buy. Amazon sends us the money.
It's great. The price stays the same for you, but we indirectly get a little bit of money, and it sure does help with the podcast.
Yeah, we appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right, let's get to our guests, Mike and Amy Lesakowski. Bill, I was doing a little bit of research about their story, and the past couple of years for their family, they sure have had some ups and some downs before they started to organize this event.
Correct. Mike's mother has passed away from cancer about a year ago, which is one of the reasons that this event is here today. And of course, Amy is a breast cancer survivor, and another reason,
Yeah, she successfully had treatment, and she, along with Mike, have this passion now to help raise the funds necessary for cancer research. And in doing so, they're going to try to break this world record.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. All right. It looks like Mike and Amy are coming in the room. So
let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. Let's get to Mike and Amy. Mike and Amy, welcome to Guys Telling Stories. How's it going?
Going well. Thank you for having us.
Great. Thanks for having us.
First off, where can people find more information about the event online?
11daypowerplay.com. And it has about our story. It has the listing of all the players and events, and there's a schedule on there where you can actually see the events throughout the 11 days. And there's also a donate button. So we welcome anybody to go ahead and donate.
It's a big button.
And of course,
right on the homepage.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have all social media accounts, and you'll just do a quick search and you'll find us. YouTube. We've got a really cool little video on YouTube as well. So you can find us. Just do a search.
Awesome. And people can still donate after the event?
Yes, through the event, even after. Mm-hmm.
And Bill, you set a pretty lofty goal for fundraising, right?
I did. I set a $20,000 goal, and I think I got it recently, maybe.
You know what? We've been so busy executing, we haven't looked at the numbers of every guy, but I'm sure you're there.
We're close.
Sounds good. Yeah. And, Mike or Amy, if you're for either of you to jump in, can you just give us that quick overview of what's the event, what's it raising money for, how it works? I know you're looking to break the world record for the world's longest hockey game.
So the game itself is, forgetting about the fundraising aspect, it's the world's longest hockey game. The current record is by a group called Brent Sake and Friends out of Edmonton, Alberta. A great group of guys that actually been helping us give us advice on our event. And the current record is 250 hours, 3 minutes, and 20 seconds. So that means that once that puck drops at 9 p.m. on Thursday the 22nd, we have to play one continuous game, less 10-minute breaks every hour for the Zamboni. And 20 versus 20, that's it. That's all we got. And then right about 7 a.m. on July the 3rd is when we get to that 251st hour. And we're not going to go much past it. We recognize that there's other people out there that, maybe even ourselves, that could raise $1 million for a cancer hospital or, some other good charity. So we want to break the record. We want to be respectful that others want to break in the future.
Did you just say ourselves? Are we going to do this again?
12-day power play, baby.
I love it. There's a sequel in the works.
We're a non-for-profit. Keep going.
Yeah, as we speak. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to sit down with you guys, the founders and creators of this event, is to take people on a look behind the scenes and hear the whole story before the event started. So if you could kind of just paint a little bit of a picture for us, did you guys grow up here in Buffalo?
I was actually born in Rhode Island, and at age 5 moved to Buffalo. My dad was an administrator at Buffalo State College and moved us to Orchard Park, and quickly realized that was Snowbelt area, and moved the whole family after 1 year into Kenmore, Tonawanda.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I was born right here in Buffalo. I was East Side Polish kid, and we moved out to West Seneca. Grew up in West Seneca, went to St. Francis High School, went to SUNY Fredonia, went to UB for my master's degree. So I'm Buffalo born and bred, and I got a big contingency of family here in Buffalo that hopefully we'll see during the game.
Now, we always like to ask, how you two met. Was it love at first sight? Did you guys meet in college, high school? Tell us that story.
Well, I have a funny story. So we met at the Launch Club in Grand Island. I was a waitress, and Mike was a bar manager, and I was always shy as a kid in my early 20s, but then once I started waiting on tables, I just kind of came out of my shell. But with the whole showing of wine bottles and the taste, and I would get really nervous, and Mike would notice that, and he would offer to actually take care of the whole thing.
He didn't pick on you?
No, he would
Maybe a little.
He would get the tray ready for me. He would walk over. He would introduce the table to the bottle of wine and take care of it. And I was like, who is this guy? And he had shaven his head. Okay, that summer. So I was like, ooh, like, I wonder if he's good looking after his hair grows in, because right now he's, yeah.
After the hair grows in.
The personality was totally there, but I was just a little shocked that, he had shaved his head. So it was truly just his personality that, I fell in love with pretty quickly, and we were married not too soon after.
Yeah, we
that.
dated for about a year, and then we got married a little after that. And soon after, we had our first child in 1997. Alyssa, she's a basketball player at Geneseo. And then we had a daughter, Julia, who's a freshman at Narden. She's also a basketball player. She was formerly a hockey player. Good little player. And our son, Liam, who's 13, and he's all hockey and lacrosse.
Oh,
all
that's
great
great.
kids.
He plays with us. They bring him, and he plays with us, and
He schools us.
He's good.
He's pretty good.
Oh yeah, he's fast. He's a good stick handler. And
Taller,
he was there this morning.
than most of us.
Kids don't seem to get tired at all. So
No, he does not get tired.
Yeah. I didn't know about Geneseo. That's where I went.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I spent 6 years there, got my master's, undergrad. So, I mean, I can just picture geographically every single street and, where it looks. And campus just keeps getting more beautiful and beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great place. We enjoy going, especially with, the girls. She plays basketball. The girls have gone through a lot, if you know the backstory on that. But it's a great group of kids, and she's really in a good spot.
Yeah, definitely. So what was your side of that story? What was the deal with the wine bottles? Were you helping just to be a helpful guy?
Well, she's easy to look at, first of all. And we just when you're working in a scenario like that, you get to know people pretty closely, and then you go out afterwards and you have a beer and you start talking, and we hit it off. We had the same personality. We like to be social. Always being social, and I think that probably helps us in something like this. I don't know if you saw any of the interactions, what we have going on here, but we stand up, we talk to all the guys, and afterwards, there's tons of questions that come. We've been fielding. Amy's been, unbelievable through this whole process, as well as we really need to mention our event coordinator, Sarah Schumacher. She's been great. But in terms of us, I think our personalities help in something like this. We're very social. We love, being active and being social. The coordination part, the logistics part, is something new to us. We've taken it on wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm. Learned a lot.
You just kind of throw it in there. But no complaints. No complaints. It's been great.
Now, in my Geneseo days, I did special events and then concerts. And so for about 6 months out of the year, I would plan one big event, one big concert, and they'd pack that gym. And I think they made it easy for me looking back on it. Other people had kind of walked in those same footsteps. So there was a budget. I knew how much I could spend. You have somebody else sort of talk to the middle agent, and then they say yes or no. The tech guys have done it twice a year for the past 20 years. They're going to set up. So if I kind of picking up on what you're saying, did you guys have any event planning
What did you actually do, Rich?
I don't know. I showed up at the meetings. I approved the T-shirts, and I walked around the day of answering questions.
Let's just say we're very jealous.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it doesn't sound like you had any experience in large event planning.
Not really. I mean, we've worked a long time ago with organizing parties and weddings and things like that, but that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
My background is I'm a social worker by trade. I work in patient education at Roswell, and Mike's an environmental engineer and part owner of a company. So we literally had no idea how to really get going, get moving. And once our logo and brand was there and our website was being built, we were like, okay, we need an event coordinator. So we were smart enough to hire Sarah Schumacher, who's been wonderful.
Yeah.
So the one event that you're doing, picture that, and then, try to raise $1 million on top of it, try to round up 40 guys who are willing to put their lives on hold, and then do about 20 events within that 11-day event. So it's been a lot. I'm not saying it's rewarding and I would do it again, but it's been a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
You found some good guys. I don't know what the process was, but everybody has a common goal, and everyone sees that common goal. And for the most part, everybody is working towards it and gets along and knows when to be quiet when they need to be, and knows when to speak up when they need to be. So you guys have done a nice job.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
Our application process, was hard for us because we had so many people apply. And, we decided that we needed to interview everyone and feel comfortable and make sure that everyone was in it for the right reasons. And I'm so proud of the 40 guys. They're just amazing, and they're great guys.
I think Bill can attest. I mean, we went back and forth a few times, and it was important to us, to everybody, that we didn't just pick a person who was a good hockey player. We didn't pick a person who was just could fundraise, right? We had to have a group of guys that would be able to play hockey, take it seriously when you had to, in terms of training and fundraising, and basically be in it for the right reasons. Because taking advice from our friends in Alberta, who've been really instrumental, they said to us, don't take a bunch of young guys to play hockey because they're not going to be. They probably don't have the same life of experiences with you, in terms of cancer and all that, and they may not take it as seriously. So try to take the guys that have the most passion, they're doing it for the right reasons, so that when day 3 and 4 and 6 comes around and you're kind of, feeling it, you can kind of dig down and maybe keep yourself going, right?
So what you're saying is, I'm not here for my hockey ability.
No comment.
You're a great mix, Bill.
Well, maybe you could take us back to that conversation. Maybe you guys were sitting out on a patio somewhere, or you're out to dinner. What was that first conversation where you came up with this idea to go for this thing?
I can actually speak for that. I had done a Susan Komen walk the year after, not even a year, like 10 months after my treatment ended, and had raised about $16,000 with just family and friends.
This is 2009.
And 2009, yeah.
2010.
And Mike was like, I just feel so passionate about hockey and research that I think putting those two elements together, we could really raise a lot of money in some way. And he Googled world's longest hockey game. And he's like, oh, somebody already did it.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was 46 hours.
Like
and we talked about it here and there. And, we were like, where would we have it? And at that time, there was really not a great venue in Buffalo.
Yeah, we thought about
it.
East Aurora. There's an outdoor rink and, the rinks that are local, but nothing kind of like stuck out.
So fast forward to 4 years ago, his mother Evelyn, my mother-in-law, had been diagnosed with lung cancer and battled a good hard 3 years. And sadly, when we knew it was her time, last April, May, Mike just started working on this in earnest.
Yeah, we were actually sitting when it kind of got reinvigorated, if you will. We were sitting at Chickster's home establishment. He's got a nice little bar down in his basement, and we were talking about Amy was about to do the Empire State Ride, and that's a ride from New York City back to Buffalo, where they ride about 550 miles over the course of 7 days.
Ride a bike,
which is
ride
a bicycle. Yeah,
everybody asks, right?
Right.
Yeah, every time.
And that was a $300,000 or so fundraiser that her and about 50 others had done. It was a pretty big deal, very, very physically trying event as well. And she was thinking about fundraisers to raise some money. There was like a minimum of $3,500 or something. And we had done some stuff at a brewery and raised, your typical auctions and all that. And that's when it came back and said, you know what, let's think about doing this game that we had thrown out there before. Because last time our kids were little and we were, you got 3 and 4 year olds running around and trying to do this would be literally impossible. So now that our kids are a little bit older, things were a little bit more stable in terms of where you're at in life. That's when, with my mom, back in last May, leading up to that, we just said, you know what, Roswell. This is our second go around with Roswell. Amy is now an employee at Roswell. Before that, and we decided that we really wanted to do this in earnest. And we originally set a $500,000 goal, if you remember. We sat there and said, yeah, we're going to raise $500,000.
We were going to have the guys have a goal of $5,000. And then once we started talking to people and how excited they got, we just, in our gut, knew that we needed to raise it. So
yeah. When we actually sat down, I remember sitting down with Roswell. We had the venue picked out, the time picked out, and we knew that it was going to have, or we had the initial setup, if you will, of the event just framed out in our head. And we went to Roswell and we met with them and we told them what we were going to do, and we told them $500,000, and they kind of snickered at each other and looked, and they're like, So then shortly after that, as Amy said, every time we talked to somebody, whether it was a potential player or if it was a community member or it was a business person, they would say, "That's it. You guys can blow that out of the water." So not long after that, I started talking to players, and I'd say, "We're going to raise it to $10,000 a player minimum, and then we're going to raise $1 million." So when we went back to Roswell, we told them $1 million, and they went, "That seems awfully lofty." And we went to the Sabres and met with them, and they'd say, "That seems awfully lofty," and it is. But we're gonna beat it.
So when they snickered, they weren't snickering like, "Oh, that's not enough." They were snickering like, "This is a lofty goal originally."
They know, because the people that we're talking to know how hard it is to raise that much money. It's not people that didn't have experience. It's people that have raised and done fundraisers, so they understand the logistics behind it and the effort behind it. And maybe to a degree we didn't, but we were determined to do it. So the fact that we weren't going to be stopped, I think, is in getting the right group of people around us is really what got us to this point.
And when we met with Roswell and told them that they were going to be the beneficiary of the money we were raising, they were like, "Well, what's the dates that you guys are going to be doing this?" And we said we secured 11 straight days at Harbor Center, and it has to be in June and July. And they all looked at each other, and they're like, "Well, that's during the ride for Roswell." And we said, "We know, but we're still going to do it."
Yeah, we couldn't. They
couldn't help, with the event as much as they wanted to, and they were worried that they wouldn't be able to. And we still have gotten great help from Roswell, and we're ready to go next week.
Yep.
Well, maybe Bill, you're a player on the team. Can you speak a little bit about the fundraising mentality of a guy who was selected to?
It's hard. It's. I'm not one to have gone around and asked people for money for things, especially donations like this. But I'm also one who, when I'm asked, I've donated. So I did have a short list of people who I knew I could go to and hopefully get a response from. And the other part of it is Mike and Amy and the rest of the guys have made it easy. It has become a little bit of a challenge to, sometimes the players challenge each other to raise this money. The training aspect of it, so it's not like you're just not writing a Facebook post asking for money because you're doing this. You're actually sacrificing your time, you're sacrificing your body, and for this cause. So people see that and take note, and that's why I think we've been able to raise so much money. It's not just because it's going to a good place, it's because of the sacrifices that everybody has been putting in. So it's great. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I looked it up today. The average marathon, men, women combined, it's run at about 4 hours and 20 minutes. So
that's a shift.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's one shift for you. You're doing 2 shifts a day for 11 days. So, typically I might be able to go to a family member and say, "Hey, can you sponsor me, $10 a mile for my marathon?" And then they go, "Well, it's a lot of money, but yeah, if you run that marathon in those 4.5 hours, I will gladly sign that check."
Yep.
And they do. But did you have to kind of get creative with how you were,
yes,
how you were going to...
The number, when you throw out a number, this is what I can raise, and you look at it, you're like, all right, and you break it up. I got on a little later than some of the other players. I think it was late November, and I was just like, all right, I got 7 months. So you divide it out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go here first. And then people donate, and you start watching, and it's like 2% of your goal. Like,
yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's only 2%.
You got to get creative.
So, and there's been meat raffles. There's been, I did a trivia event. There's been just happy hours. There's been raffles. People are online asking for donations per goal. Home parties.
Golf tournament.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. So I think we've covered the traditional, the OCO concert for good.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
sorry, Drew.
Unbelievable.
Drew Case, amazing.
Yeah.
We should do that every year.
Outer Circle Orchestra concert was one of my favorite fundraisers. I mean, he raised a ton of money, but we had so much fun. They're a great band, and we had 1,000 people just rocking.
We raised $23,000 that night.
That's awesome.
Between the merchandise we sold, the raffles, and the 50/50s, and just the ticket to get in. And we didn't. I think it was $20 a ticket to get in.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were there. That was awesome.
Drew would be in that locker room, man. He would have this many tickets, and he would not leave unless people. Everyone bought tickets. Like, I bought them last week, man. Like, I still have 4 at home. It's like, we'll sell them. Buy more.
The funny thing about that night was seeing the faces on the players, Drew's teammates. I know OCO from the 90s and following them.
I don't.
A lot of people, aren't in different age groups really familiar with that band. And when just looking at the players' reactions, like, that's our teammate,
Yeah,
Drew,
so they
out there?
plus they knew
he
Drew
rocks.
as they thought he's just he's a physician's assistant, which is cool in terms of his what he does for a living. And then they knew that he had something to do with music, but I don't think they really knew. So when he got up there and he starts rocking and he was legit, everyone was like, "Whoa!"
And he's a professor at Duville as well.
Yeah.
So his students were there. They were right in the front row. There was like a mosh pit going on. Like, it was
great.
really awesome.
But where was he when Jeff got thrown out? That's all I want to know.
Only 2 of our players got thrown out that night, so we did all right.
Well, guys, we always like to ask about a no turning back moment where you finally make that decision and you're committed. There's no turning back in your hearts, but once you sign this waiver or or what was that no turning back moment for you?
So this whole thing started out by just having the idea and then talking to a bunch of people, just kind of, getting feedback. And then, we have a bunch of guys that we skate with all the time. And I started throwing that out and they're like, yep. They didn't really know what they're getting themselves into.
Right.
But they said, yeah, it's a great idea. Good idea. And then I came to Nick Fatty at Harbor Center. And Nick Fatty runs the Harbor Center. He's one of our players. And I told him that I wanted to do this. And he went back and said, let me get back to you. He came back and said, here's the dates. This is it, because it's in the summer. It's not prime time in terms of youth hockey and all that. So that was the date. And then we went and talked to the Sabres, and we had told them about the idea. And then after that, we went and talked to Roswell. I can't remember what the order was. And we had the folks at Roswell. So they accepted it. They obviously told them what our plans were. We had a lot of ideas that were thrown out. They were talking a mile a minute like I am right now. But then I think I just looked at my notes the other day. I've got this little folder that I keep when we have meetings. And it was it was end of April it was the end of May because my mom had just passed. My mom passed on 5/5. So it was the end of May, and we had our first committee. I had put together a committee, included myself, Amy, Mike Pekka, John Condren. I think Fink was part of it. We had our attorney,
Matt
Cartman. I'll miss somebody, but anyway, that was our first official committee meeting. We stood out in the Harbor Center, and I started throwing ideas around, and this guy was in charge of that, and this girl was in charge of that, and we walked out of there, and we all kind of looked at each other, and we're like, holy crap, we're really going to do this, huh? And that was the time where
the no turning back.
That was
moment.
the turning back for me, because we had all the major things, logistically speaking, in place, and everybody totally on board with it. So
I wasn't convinced then. I was more convinced when we met with Crawley Webb, and they revealed the names, the ideas to name the event.
That was
and brand it.
Yeah, that was a cool aspect.
And then the logo. And then it was like, when we decided on that, I was like, wow, this is really happening.
It does feel real when you go, guys, we have T-shirts. We got T-shirts.
There you go.
There's no turning back now.
There it is.
Yeah, so you guys have been down that path.
The physicalness of it. Yeah, the T-shirts, the logo, all of that, the website. Yeah.
Was there a challenge or obstacle or even a failure that you had to overcome to get this done, let's say sometime after that initial meeting?
I think kind of organizing the non-for-profit stuff was a little frustrating. The paperwork involved in not being really told for a few months that you're now a non-for-profit. That process is takes a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's it was a little bit of a hiccup because we started the process maybe a little bit too late. But we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization officially, and we got a little bit of a lag there. So when we started taking money in, we had to tell people, listen, we've applied for this. We've been told that it's coming, but we're officially not a non-for-profit. So we can take the money in, and then once we got the status, they're going to get acknowledgement letters that it's a charitable donation and all that. But I think from an organizational standpoint, a little bit behind the ball on that one. So that was, but we had never done this. And it felt really great when we got that letter and said, you guys are not for profit.
Yeah, I bet.
You know what? And then bank account was set up and all the names, and we were incorporated. And, so that was the one thing that maybe if I had to give advice to someone that's setting up an event, to make sure that they get out ahead of that one.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because you can get the players and get the support and get the T-shirts, but you want to then get the money rolling in too.
Right.
And it's like, we got to get over that hurdle first.
Right. Right. And then we were finally able to, we had our launch party October, right? Mm-hmm. October of 16. And at that point, the very day we had that launch party, it was a Friday night, our website got put up, got launched. And that was clever method, unreal. They've done such a good job on our website. They
actually won a national platinum award for the website.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool website.
Awesome.
So go check it out.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned your children earlier. How have they helped support you guys along the way? Because family's everything, but mom and dad are busy. You got your real lives.
Yeah.
You got the power play.
We keep promising them that things are going to quiet down soon.
They've been great.
They miss us. I mean, we're generally with them all the time. Mm-hmm. But this year's been difficult to be together as a family as much as we're used to. So they've been patient. I mean, they're so helpful. And they're excited. I mean, I think even for them, is this really happening? For at least 4 months. It just didn't sink into them. And then once they started seeing people in the community with the T-shirts on, they're like, Mom, look, that person's wearing one of the 11-day T-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, they think it's cool, and they hear us on the radio and stuff, so that probably helps us.
We were at Art Park the other night at a concert, Tears for Fears, and some guy was wearing an 11-day hat, and I had mine on, and I was like, hey, gave him a thumbs up, and he just smiled. And
that's been pretty cool, seeing people around town that you don't know wearing your gear. I was at the mall the other day, and I see a guy walking by. I had no idea who it was, and I just gave him the 11-day, gave him a thumbs up. Mm-hmm. So that's been pretty cool. But back to the kids, they've been very cool. I don't remember any eye rolls just yet. Like sometimes when kids are teenagers and they're not getting what they want or what they think they should be getting or whatever, they pout and stuff. Our kids, they haven't done that. They've been very helpful, whether it be folding shirts or helping out with one of the fundraisers.
Our kids are very active, so they're just everywhere all the time. So that's been a struggle.
Yeah.
We've relied on friends and family to get them to and from places.
Yeah.
And,
I'm literally leaving here to go to Canandaigua to my son's lacrosse tournament, which he caught a ride from a friend this morning. So, that's the type of stuff that we do.
Thank you, Darcy.
Yeah, seriously. And kids, if you're listening to this, you already know your parents are amazing. But they're doing
We don't have any kids that listen to us. We're boring. We're old and boring.
Mom and dad are doing something amazing, though, too. So I think as you get older, maybe they kind of think back. They're like, man, my parents did something really cool.
Hope so.
10 years ago. And, maybe they're the ones that do the 13-day power play or something, in the future. Maybe. Carry on the legacy. So what do you think, Bill?
13 days. Oh, my goodness.
Before we look ahead, anything else, any highlights or anything else we should touch on?
No, I've enjoyed my experience. I know I've told you guys both that before, but just meeting this group of guys and bonding with them over the last 6 months has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of the things that I think we need to not lose sight of, we've done a lot of these interviews, and they've been great, and we're very appreciative and grateful, but the reason we're doing this is to raise at least $1 million to give to Roswell for cancer research. That's what we're doing. They're going to take that money, use it as seed money for larger grants. We met the doctors. We met the clinicians. We've seen the studies they're doing. We're giving this money for a very specific reason. We're doing this event for a very specific reason. I never want that to get lost as we do these events.
And it's our message is all cancers matter. And, the research that we're focusing in on is immunotherapy and biotherapy and vaccines. And we know that that's important.
Yep.
What's currently exciting you guys about the prospect of maybe keeping this thing going past the 11 days? Any plans in the future? Any other, hey, we would do this? What do you think?
Well,
somebody would have to beat our record before we could come back.
I see. What? Yeah.
But, we are in the early hours of the 11th day. What is it at 11.6?
10.6 is the number of days you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. So technically we could still be the 11-day power play. We could still be the 11-day power play. If somebody beats us by an hour, we could, or, if that's a couple years from now.
I have some ideas that I haven't dared to share with Amy just yet about future events, so I'm going to keep those to myself for now because we're honed in on starting. While you're listening to this, we're in the middle of it.
We're in the middle.
We've been very honed in on the event, so I do have some ideas about perpetuating this to another similar type thing.
Before we started recording, we talked off mic, and you guys said, we're just ordinary people. Mom, dad, you guys got full-time jobs outside of this event. So we always like to ask for a little bit of advice. Any advice you give to somebody who's kind of just starting out on their own path to do something heroic and extraordinary like you?
I think it's important to be passionate about something. I mean, if the cause that you're passionate about isn't cancer and it's something else, do something. Don't be afraid to kind of get the mind going and look into doing something to give back. Because I'll tell you, the feeling that we get is we can't even explain it. It's incredible. So it's well worth the doing. And
yeah, it's like in business. I tell people if you're passionate about something, it really doesn't feel like work. It's just what you do. That's how it's become. It's just what we do. I've got no regrets whatsoever. None. Zero.
I think there's been some people in our community, like our neighbors and friends and family, that are like, oh my gosh, like, really? You guys are doing this? Like, and it's just never been a doubt, and we just keep going, and we're tired physically, but like mentally and in the heart,
he's not tired. I skate against him all the time. He is never tired.
Oh, believe me, I see him crash at 8:00 sometimes with his mouth wide open.
Last night.
Well, I think that's a great response, and it can apply to whatever people want to go after.
Absolutely.
Once again, Mike and Amy, thanks for being here. Can you please plug social media, website, anywhere where people can go and find you?
11daypowerplay.com.
Facebook,
Twitter.
11-Day Power Play. Twitter, 11-Day Power Play.
It is a good name.
Instagram. 11-Day Power Play.
It's the number.
And then YouTube, 11-Day Power Play. So any of those, just do search for 11-Day Power Play. You'll come up on any of those social media.
And rumor has it that we will have a live Facebook ability from our website, from our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So we're finalizing a few things, but people will be able to watch live.
So if you're watching right now, hopefully that means
wave.
If you the Harbor Center just showed us they've got a brand new system, in-house system. You hit record and it just goes. So hopefully if you type in 11-Day Power Play Facebook, you can just watch us play.
Once again, we appreciate you coming by, and Mike and Amy, thanks for sharing your stories.
Yeah,
thank
you very much,
guys.
Thanks. Much
Bill,
appreciated.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Oh,
thanks, Bill.
Thank you guys for putting this together. It's a great thing.
That's awesome. They had to take off, but Bill, I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
this
it.
is really awesome that you're playing, and Mike and Amy's story is one I'm so glad we got an opportunity to share.
Yeah, they're it's really you can tell in their voice it's something that they truly believe in, and they should be proud of what they've done and accomplished so far.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, quick reminder that we do still need your help to help us decide the winner of the Season 3 Guys Telling Stories T-Shirt Design Challenge. It's simple. You go to guystellingstories.com, click on the merch tab, and check out the shirts. If you like one of them more than the other, please buy it, and that'll help us decide who the winner is. I sure could use a little bit of help. And all you got to do to check out those shirts is to go to guystellingstories.com and click on the merch tab.
Also, when you're on there, if you want to do some more online shopping on Amazon, there is a link right to Amazon on our website. Click it, because we get a cut of all of your purchases, and it's free for you. It doesn't cost you anything except maybe 2 seconds of time.
Much appreciated, yeah. Bill, I know we really didn't get too much into, Amy's cancer survivor story, but I was thinking, that's a story for another time.
Their hearts and their minds right now are deep into this event, and it is literally days away from starting and going on as this is going to be released. So it's something we can always revisit, but their concern right now is to finish what they started with this event.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Raising the money and breaking the world record. It's super exciting.
It is. I'm happy to be a part of it, and happy I met these two.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't already, check out the website, 11daypowerplay.com. They'll have some of the live footage, and you can kind of see some of the players, and if you're so inclined to, donate and, help join the cause.
That's true. 11daypowerplay.com. You can see the full schedule of events. If you are local here in the Buffalo area, you can come down June 22nd to July 3rd and check it out live for yourself. It is free to enter.
Oh, awesome! I'm glad we got to do a local interview here, Bill, at the end of this season. But we will be back next week for our season 3 wrap up, our season 3 finale, and I'm pretty excited to share some behind the scenes stories. So,
me too.
If you haven't already, please click subscribe to the podcast on whatever listening device you use. And as always, I'm Rich Douglas.
I'm Bill Easton.
Until next time.